When you're on the verge of something great, sometimes it doesn't feel like it. It can feel like the exact opposite. Life throws challenges your way, obstacles come up out of nowhere, and the path seems like anything but smooth. But when God is preparing you for a blessing, He often works in ways we don't expect. Here's what to watch for signs that the blessing is on the horizon, even if it doesn't look like it. When life pushes you to places that feel uncertain and uncomfortable, it's not always a sign that you're off course. Sometimes those uncomfortable shifts, the ones that pull you away from what's familiar and cozy, are the very moments that prepare you for something greater. Growth isn't comfortable, it's disruptive. But it's through that disruption that transformation happens. You might feel unsettled, like the ground beneath you is shaking, and you're no longer in control. That sense of discomfort, that itch that you can't quite scratch, that's a sign that you're being pushed beyond the limits you've known. It's not there to break you, it's there to stretch you. Growth doesn't come from sitting in the same place, doing the same thing. Real growth happens when you're thrown into unfamiliar waters, forced to find your balance, to navigate a way forward when the map in front of you is blank. In these moments, it's easy to want to retreat, to go back to what you know. The mind craves comfort. The heart longs for peace. But staying in a comfort zone means you'll never see the views from the mountain you were meant to climb. If you feel like you're being nudged out of the place where everything is predictable, then it's a sign you're being prepared. Something bigger is waiting, but it requires you to be a bigger person. It requires more strength, more courage, and a deeper resilience than you've known. And that discomfort, it's not a punishment, it's a gift. Because when you're willing to stand in that space of uncertainty, willing to let go of your safety nets and trust the journey, you become stronger. You find parts of yourself that were hidden, strengths you didn't know you had. Every moment you stay there, facing those uncomfortable shifts, you're being shaped, prepared to carry the blessings that are coming. So when life feels unsteady and you're tempted to pull back, remember that growth is not a gentle process. It's not meant to be. True transformation requires you to face what's uncomfortable and keep moving forward. Embrace the shift, because it's setting you up for a destination you haven't yet seen. When a door closes, it's natural to feel a sting of disappointment. You might start questioning yourself, wondering why things didn't work out as you'd hoped. But here's the truth: closed doors aren't failures, they're redirections. Every time you reach for an opportunity that slips out of your grasp, it's not the end. It's a pivot, a push in a new direction that you couldn't see before. Sometimes you knock on doors you're sure will open, doors you've prepared for and prayed over. Yet when they stay shut, it's a test of your faith, your resilience, and your vision. Closed doors can feel like rejection, but they're often a divine reroute, nudging you towards something better. You see, not every opportunity is meant for you. Some doors stay closed because what's behind them would take you off course, lead you somewhere that doesn't align with the purpose waiting for you. When a door closes, it's a reminder that you're not in control, that there's a plan far greater than your own, a plan you might not fully understand yet. The closed doors in your life are guardrails, keeping you from wandering into spaces that aren't yours to inhabit. They are there to protect you, to guide you back to the path where you'll grow, thrive, and reach your fullest potential. Think of every closed door as a stepping stone, one that redirects your energy, your focus, and your strength to places where they'll be truly valued. It takes courage to face a closed door and trust that something better is on the other side, even if you can't see it yet. But each time a door doesn't open, you're being refined, you're being taught patience, resilience, and most importantly, faith that something more fitting is just ahead. When the door closes, don't stand there looking at it, wondering why it didn't open. Turn away with a calm assurance, knowing that something else is coming, something that fits who you are becoming, not who you used to be. Patience isn't just waiting, it's how you wait. It's how you carry yourself when the answers haven't come, when the path ahead seems slow, and when every part of you wants to rush forward to speed up the process. Patience is the quiet strength that holds you steady, even when everything around you seems uncertain. When you're being prepared for something bigger, patience becomes essential. It's not about sitting back and doing nothing, it's about learning to trust the timing. Sometimes you're ready for the blessing, but the blessing isn't ready for you. Other times, the world around you isn't set up for what you're meant to bring. Waiting builds resilience, teaches you endurance, and reminds you that you're not in control of everything. And that's a good thing, because real growth happens when you release the need to control every detail. In those long, quiet moments, you might feel like nothing is happening, like you're stagnant, wasting time. But those are the moments when the most profound work is being done. You're learning to keep showing up, even when the progress is invisible. You're building a core of patience that isn't shaken by delays or setbacks. It's like a muscle. You've got to work it, stretch it, strengthen it. And it's only in the waiting that patience gets its power. Patience is about trust. It's trusting that even if you don't have what you want today, it's because something better is being prepared. It's trusting that the preparation is just as important as the blessing itself. When you're forced to wait, it's because you're being shaped into someone who can hold the blessing, not just receive it. Without patience, you might fumble, rush, or mishandle what's coming. But with it, you'll be ready not just to have it, but to honor it, to protect it, and to let it grow. So don't resent the waiting. Embrace it. Understand that each day you wait is another layer of strength, another lesson in resilience, and another reminder that the best things in life aren't rushed, they're carefully, patiently crafted. Humility is one of life's most powerful lessons, and it rarely comes easily. It's a quality that often comes wrapped in tough experiences and challenges. When you're called to something greater, there's a process of humbling that takes place, a stripping away of ego, of pride, of anything that could stand in the way of growth. You start to see that the journey isn't just about you, it's about something bigger, a purpose that needs a strong foundation to carry it. Humility comes when you face moments that test you, that remind you of your limits, and that force you to reach beyond yourself. It's in those moments when the things you thought you could count on fall short, and you're left with only your faith and your character. It's a gentle reminder that no matter how high you climb, there are lessons that keep you grounded. You learn that true strength isn't about having all the answers or being in control. It's about being open to the growth that comes from life's hard truths. And here's the thing about humility: it brings you closer to others, and it brings you closer to yourself. When you're willing to learn, to listen, to let go of pride, you start to see the world with new eyes. You see the struggles of others, you respect their journeys, and you become a person who uplifts rather than competes. Humility gives you the perspective to understand that everyone is on a path, just like you, facing their own battles. Humility isn't weakness, it's the quiet strength of knowing who you are without needing to prove it to anyone. It's being willing to take a step back so you can move forward with more purpose. It's allowing yourself to be shaped, refined, even broken down a little, because you know that what's built back up will be stronger, wiser, and more resilient. When you develop humility, you don't shrink, you grow. You become someone who understands the value of each step, each lesson, each closed door, each stumble. You don't need recognition, because your worth isn't defined by outside applause. It's defined by the depth of your character and the strength of your spirit. Humility gives you the freedom to be authentically yourself without needing validation or praise. It grounds you, anchors you, and prepares you for the blessings that are coming, blessings that require a heart strong enough to receive them with grace without forgetting where you started. Letting go of people is one of the hardest things you'll ever have to do. There's a pain in it, a quiet grief, because you remember the good moments, the shared memories, the connection that once felt unbreakable. But sometimes people who were once essential to your journey aren't meant to be part of where you're headed next. Not everyone is meant to walk every mile of your path with you. Letting go isn't about resentment or anger. It's about acceptance. It's understanding that as you grow and evolve, the relationships around you shift too. The truth is, as you reach for new heights, some people will start to feel out of sync with your energy. They may not understand your dreams, your drive, or the changes happening within you. And that's okay. Not everyone is meant to understand your journey, because it's uniquely yours. Sometimes people hold on to you in ways that keep you anchored to an old version of yourself. They see you as who you were, not who you're becoming. And when that happens, it can create a weight, a kind of resistance that keeps you from moving forward. It's not a sign that you're ungrateful or disloyal, it's a sign that you're growing. It's about making space for people who support the direction you're headed in, not just the place you've been. Letting go of people can also be about freeing them to find their own paths. Just as you need space to grow, so do they. Holding on too tightly keeps both of you from becoming who you're meant to be. Letting go is about releasing the need to control, allowing each person to follow their own journey, even if it takes them in a different direction. The beauty of letting go is that it doesn't close doors, it opens them. You create space for people who see you as you are and as you're becoming, people who celebrate your growth, who challenge you to rise higher. You find relationships that nourish your spirit, friendships that lift you, people who push you to be better. And when you let go of what no longer serves you, you're honoring both your journey and theirs, trusting that life will fill that space with what's truly meant to be. Letting go isn't about giving up on people, it's about giving in to the natural rhythm of life, understanding that some relationships are seasonal while others are lifelong. It's trusting that the people who are truly meant to be in your life will stay, and those who aren't are still part of your story, just in a different chapter. There are times in life when something shifts deep within you, a subtle but undeniable call that pulls you towards something bigger. It's like a fire reigniting in your spirit, a quiet voice reminding you that there's more to do, more to give, more to become. This renewed sense of purpose doesn't come from nowhere. It comes when life has pushed you, challenged you, and made you question everything you thought you knew. When that sense of purpose comes alive in you, it's as if the pieces start falling into place. Even if they don't make complete sense yet, you start feeling driven in ways you hadn't before. It's a stirring in your soul that tells you there's a path ahead that needs your footsteps. Suddenly, things that once held your focus lose their grip, and the distractions fall away. You see a vision of the life you're meant to lead, the impact you're meant to make, and you can't ignore it. This new purpose gives you strength to stand tall, even in moments of doubt. It's a feeling that gets you out of bed each morning, pushing you forward, even when the challenges pile up. When you have a renewed purpose, it's no longer just about what you want. It's about who you're meant to be for others, for yourself, for the world. It's a responsibility that humbles you and lifts you at the same time. You'll notice a different energy around you. The right people start appearing, opportunities show up, and doors open that you didn't even know existed. It's as if life aligns in ways you couldn't force or plan. And while you still face setbacks, they don't shake you like they used to. That renewed purpose keeps you steady, reminding you that each step, each struggle, each success is part of a larger picture. This feeling also teaches you to embrace change. You realize that growth often requires leaving behind what's comfortable and familiar. It demands that you step into the unknown with faith, trusting that you're being led towards something greater. Purpose makes the unknown a little less frightening because you know that every twist and turn has meaning. Every high and low is part of the preparation for what's coming. A renewed sense of purpose isn't just a fleeting feeling, it's a call to action. It asks you to get serious about what you're here to do, to stop wasting time, and to start walking with intention. It's not just a nice idea, it's a mission. It's the force that won't let you settle, that pushes you to grow, to risk, and to become more than you thought possible. And with that purpose guiding you, you realize that every part of your journey has been preparing you for this very moment, for the path that's now unfolding before you. When you're on the edge of something big, something meaningful, resistance often shows up in ways you never expected. It's the roadblocks that pop up out of nowhere, the voices telling you to stop, the setbacks that make you question if it's even worth it. Resistance doesn't come to stop the mediocre or the half-hearted. It shows up when you're on the verge of something powerful, something that will require every ounce of strength, focus, and resilience you have. Resistance isn't a sign to turn back, it's a sign that you're moving towards something real. Facing resistance is like standing in the middle of a storm. You feel the weight, the pressure bearing down on you. It's uncomfortable, frustrating, even exhausting. But that storm is there to shape you, to test just how committed you are to what you say you want. Resistance is the fire that refines, the test that separates those who are truly ready from those who are merely interested. When you feel the resistance, it's life asking you, how much do you want this? How far are you willing to go? At first, resistance can feel like everything is working against you. Doors close, plans fail, people doubt you. But if you push through it, if you dig deep and keep going, you start to see that resistance isn't there to break you, it's there to build you. Every time you face it and refuse to give up, you become stronger, more focused, and more determined. You learn to rely not on outside validation or the opinions of others, but on your own unshakable belief in your purpose. Resistance is also life's way of weeding out distractions. It forces you to get clear about what really matters, to let go of what doesn't serve your mission. It pushes you to develop discipline and resilience, qualities that don't come easy but are essential for real success. Facing resistance teaches you that not every path is meant to be easy, and that the most worthwhile journeys often come with the greatest obstacles. When you're facing resistance, remember that it's a part of every great story, every worthwhile achievement. It's the part of the journey that molds you, that makes you ready for what's waiting on the other side. Because once you break through that resistance, once you push past the doubt, the fear, the frustration, you'll find yourself stronger, wiser, and more prepared than you ever imagined. So, don't fear resistance. Embrace it. Let it make you resilient. Let it sharpen your focus. Let it remind you that what you're pursuing is worth fighting for. Because if it wasn't, there wouldn't be anything standing in your way. Learning to trust deeply is no easy feat. It's one of the hardest, most profound lessons life has to offer. Trust isn't just believing that everything will work out. It's about letting go of the need to control every outcome, even when you're afraid, even when you've been let down before. It's about opening yourself up to the unknown, to risks, to the possibility of both joy and pain. Real trust requires courage because it means you're willing to take a step without seeing the whole path. Trust asks you to have faith in the journey even when the road ahead is foggy. It's believing that each step will bring you closer to where you need to be, even if you don't know exactly what that looks like. Trusting deeply means embracing the truth that some things will always be out of your hands and that sometimes the best thing you can do is let go and let life unfold. It's in those moments of uncertainty, when things don't make sense, that trust is tested and strengthened. Trust is also about releasing the weight of past disappointments. We all carry scars from times when trust was broken, from people who let us down, from situations that didn't go the way we'd hoped. But learning to trust deeply means finding the strength to forgive, to let those scars remind you of what you've overcome, not keep you trapped in fear. It's choosing to believe that not every experience will repeat the past, that some people and some paths are truly worthy of your faith. Learning to trust deeply also means having faith in yourself. It's understanding that even if things don't go as planned, you have the strength to handle it, to adapt, to find a way forward. Trusting yourself means knowing that you have what it takes to face whatever comes, that you don't have to have all the answers to take the next step. You learn that no matter what, you'll land on your feet because you've got resilience in your bones. When you trust deeply, you release the need to control everything, to force outcomes. You begin to see that sometimes life has plans bigger than the ones you can imagine. Trust opens doors that control would have kept shut. It creates space for growth, for connection, for opportunities that would never have come your way otherwise. Trust isn't weakness, it's strength, the strength to let life in all its uncertainty and beauty. So learning to trust deeply is a journey. It requires patience, vulnerability, and a willingness to embrace the unknown. But it's worth it because on the other side of that trust is freedom, freedom from fear, freedom from doubt, freedom to live fully. And when you learn to trust deeply, you don't just navigate life, you walk through it with confidence, with grace, and with a heart wide open, ready to receive all that life has to offer. Increased responsibility is a double-edged sword. At first, it might feel overwhelming, like a weight suddenly placed on your shoulders that you weren't prepared for. But the truth is, with greater responsibility comes greater opportunity, greater growth, and ultimately a deeper understanding of your own strength. You can't step into something bigger without accepting that you're going to have to step up. And that means more than just showing up. It means taking ownership of your actions, your choices, and the impact you have on the world around you. When responsibility increases, the stakes get higher. Things that were once simple decisions now carry more weight. You can't afford to make mistakes as easily, and every choice counts. The pressure can be intense, but it's also what drives you to rise to the occasion. You start to see the value of every lesson, every failure, and every small success that's led you to this moment. With more responsibility, you realize just how much more you're capable of than you ever imagined. It forces you to dig deeper, to find new ways to grow and adapt. But that increased responsibility isn't just about the external factors, it's about how you evolve on the inside. As you take on more, you learn the value of discipline. You learn that with freedom comes accountability. You can't be reckless when lives are on the line, when others depend on you, when the future is shaped by the decisions you make today. Responsibility asks you to move with intention, to think before you act, and to be clear on your values because people will follow your lead. The weight of that leadership can feel heavy, but it's also what pushes you to become the best version of yourself. What's key is understanding that increased responsibility doesn't mean doing everything alone. It's about learning how to trust others, how to delegate, and how to recognize that strength lies in unity, not isolation. You learn to rely on a team, to build relationships that support the burden you carry. You also understand that the best leaders don't just take responsibility for their actions, they take responsibility for the well-being and success of those they lead. It's about being accountable, not just to yourself, but to others who are impacted by your choices. With increased responsibility comes sacrifice. You might have to give up certain things: comfort, leisure, time. The things that once seemed important may fall by the wayside as you focus on what really matters. But as you let go of the distractions, you start to see that what you're building, what you're creating, is worth every sacrifice. It's in these moments that you realize that growth isn't always easy, but it's always worth it. Every challenge you face, every obstacle you overcome, adds another layer to your ability to handle even more responsibility. And here's the truth: the greater the responsibility, the greater the reward. But that reward isn't always seen in external validation or accolades. It's seen in your own sense of pride, your own internal growth, the way you carry yourself when you know you've done everything you could to handle the weight placed on you. It's in the quiet moments when you look back and realize just how far you've come, how much you've learned, and how much stronger you are than you were before. So don't fear increased responsibility. Embrace it. Accept that the road ahead will require more from you, but understand that it will also give you more. It will give you wisdom, strength, and the confidence to step into even greater challenges. Because the truth is, the more responsibility you take on, the more you become the person you were always meant to be. A sense of peace amidst the chaos is not something that comes naturally. It's not something you can buy or rush into or manufacture on a whim. It's something you earn through experience, through struggle, through learning how to stand firm when everything around you is falling apart. In the middle of life's noise, when the world is loud and the pressure is high, finding that peace is like finding solid ground in the middle of a storm. It's not about the absence of difficulty, it's about how you choose to respond to it. In the chaos of life, it's easy to get lost in the noise, the deadlines, the demands, the constant pull in every direction. Everything seems urgent. Every issue feels like it's the end of the world. You get pulled in so many directions that you can lose sight of what really matters, lose sight of your own center. But peace is the ability to stay grounded, even when the storm is howling around you. It's the strength to sit with your emotions, to feel the weight of the world without letting it crush you. This peace doesn't come from controlling everything around you. In fact, true peace comes from letting go of the need to control it all. It's understanding that you can't fix every problem, solve every crisis, or make everything go your way. There's a freedom in accepting that not everything is in your hands, and that's where peace begins. When you stop fighting against what you can't change, you create space for calm, for clarity. You start to trust that no matter what happens, you will be okay, because your peace doesn't depend on the world going your way, it depends on how you respond to the world. A sense of peace is also about prioritizing your mental and emotional health. It's about finding moments of stillness amidst the noise. When everything is rushing at you, you learn to take a breath, to step back, and to assess. You learn that sometimes the best way to move forward is to slow down. Peace doesn't mean doing nothing, it means doing what matters, focusing on the right things, and leaving behind the rest. It's choosing what deserves your energy and what doesn't. You let go of the distractions, the worries that have no bearing on your growth, and you focus on what truly counts. In moments of chaos, peace is also found in trust. Trust in yourself, trust in the journey, trust in the bigger picture. When things don't go as planned, you can still find peace in knowing that what you're going through is not the end of the road, it's part of the process. You trust that the challenges you face are teaching you something, building your strength, and preparing you for what's ahead. Even when things look dark, you hold on to the belief that you are exactly where you need to be. The greatest gift of peace is that it's contagious. When you find peace in the chaos, when you refuse to let the noise rattle you, it has a ripple effect. Your calm steadies others. Your peace becomes a source of stability in the middle of the storm. It allows you to lead with clarity, to handle pressure with grace, and to navigate challenges without losing your center. It's not about being perfect, it's about being present, being grounded, and finding strength in the midst of it all. True peace is a choice, a decision to stay calm when everything is trying to pull you apart. It's a mindset you cultivate over time, a skill you develop by facing life's chaos head-on and choosing to rise above it. It's knowing that no matter what happens around you, your peace is untouchable because it comes from within. It's the quiet strength that can't be shaken, the calm in the storm that reminds you that you are always in control of how you respond. Peace is the foundation you build brick by brick in the middle of the chaos. And once you find it, once you truly embrace it, you carry it with you everywhere you go.